So first thing is ensure you get to the exam 30 minutes before the exams and identify your seat if possible. So the thing is, if you get to the exam hall, there are some of us that are exam, let me say, would I say crowd? Yeah, have this crowd. Yeah, like me now. Someone like I don't like to exam too early. Do you get? So because I get really scared when I see crowd around and I'll be like, oh, it gets intimidating. Everyone books, everyone trying to do one or two things. And yeah, you surely meet someone that'll be like, oh, let me ask you, okay, have you read this? They get to like intimidate you. I don't know. So I'm kind of the nation or at least 30 minutes is fair for you, Sha. It is fair, then you identify examination seats. That is if you have actually gone to the exam hall before. If you are going to write this exam for the first time and you do not know your examination center, please do not work with the 30 minute though. Please do not work with it. What I normally do, in fact, I had the opportunity to like write examination in different centers. There was a time I wrote in Ibadan, there was a time I wrote in Ogun State. So I didn't really know the way I was going to write the exam there in Ibadan. So the day before I quickly up, let me make sure to I went to check the exam um, venue to familiarize myself with it. It's important. Do not say you want to just go to the examination on that day when you do not know the actual venue. You just be parabolating and you go this place. It can mount pressure on you. It can make you forget all what you have read. So I don't to the examination. You have to do that, and also on the exam day, 30 minutes is fair. Get to the exam hall, and let me just squeeze this in. If you are writing this exam, it is meant to be a reference course. You know that you are not right. You are writing only PSAV. I'm talking to those writing only PSAV. You know definitely that you are not writing on the first day. You are writing. You are definitely writing on the last day. You are writing PSAV and CSM if I'm not wrong. So you are writing PSAV, you are writing FR and some other courses on the first day. On the second day, you're writing then on the last day, you know that you are not there on the first day, you are not there on the second day. It's very important for you. You are going to write the reference course. I remember when I was in the professional level, I was writing a reference course. I was writing case study. I didn't go the first day. I didn't go on the second day. Then the third day I got there. We are, then they normally use, every examination booklet uses color. I don't know that's the color that they use for the skills level, for the professional level, for the foundation level. Everyone has one particular color on it, and I was watching out for it. I got my answer booklet and I started writing. So about 2.5 hours, case studies hours into the examination, or the an examiner was walking by and he was like, "You, what are you doing? What course are you writing?" I was like, "I'm writing case study examination." And he said, "Why don't you have case study boldly written on the examination paper?" So I was like, "I didn't know that must I have case study written on the examination paper." This was a course I had written the previous diet, and I assumed I knew all the information or the way it's been done. Apparently, they advised the way that do not use the paper, the answer all the other courses in that professional level. They had to implement a particular paper that they came up with the paper as case study book written on it. So that's the one you must use. But the examiner who shared the answer booklet to me gave me, but probably by mistake, gave me the normal answer booklet, and I didn't know. So I started writing. I had done certain things, 2 hours, 2.5 hours into the examination. Or must have gone far now. And the man made me stand up, and apparently we're even more than that. I was not the only one. We're like maybe 20 or so. I had similar. If we do not write into the main booklet, there's no how we can actually pass the examination. So can you see? I assumed, the mistake there was, I'm a reference student. I assumed that, same principle works last diet. He's still the one working now. So I decided to follow it. I didn't even bother asking. So let's say when you get to the exam hall, this is for reference students. When you get to the exam hall, ensure that you ask what are the informations that they passed on the first day, because that's the part that first day is the main day that they usually pass information. Many of us are aware of this that have written this exam before. They come out with the mic. In fact, before all of you enter the exam, or there will be a chief examiner talking, telling you things you should do, things you should not do, this and that, and how to do. Just follow, don't panic. It's the name is ICAN, so you can. So that's just it. Follow the instructions and do not panic. So when you get into the exam, or don't even say you get into the exam, or try and collaborate with people that they've been there right from the first day. Ask them what are the instructions that have been passed. So I know you want to know how that particular case ended. I actually qualified that diet, but I thank God that that particular chief examiner was a very lenient person. He just told us, you know what happened? Take this answer booklet, the correct answer booklet. Now start from where you are. Just leave the space of what you have done. After the examination, we'll give you time to like copy what you have done in the previous answer booklet. You know how many people will do that? Just because we're just lucky. What about in a situation where the chief examiner was like, "No, going to take responsibility for what we should know that we should use this booklet." So that's why we try to avoid. At times, it's not like you have not prepared. It's not like you have not done the needful. But you see, the problem is these little things they do matter. I used to tell students that these little things really matter. Imagine someone who has actually read, prepared, done the needful, and immediately finished the first exam. He went, oh, let me go relax and wait for the next exam. Let me read and try to revise for the other exam that will take place in the afternoon, maybe 2 o'clock. And this student is tired. She has read overnight and everything, and she slept off where she sat down, and it was an hidden place because she did not tell others that she was going to read. And she woke up around past 4 when the exam. The exam rules is that if it is 30 minutes after the exam has started, they cannot allow you in again, right? So this lady came back and they told her that where she be because she did not tell anybody. She did not inform people that she was going to read at the back of a particular car and everything. Those of us that are familiar with Ibadan Jogo Center, there's a all of Grace. There's a particular place there that people used to go and read maybe after it. So imagine that kind of person has read, and that's that's the reference automatically, and that is why we are sharing these tips. I don't want to dwell much on it because I have some other aspect to touch as regards your exams. Some particular, this many people have been messaging me. They've been asking me, oh, where are my area of concentration? Actually, I've shared that before. For those people that follow me on social media, I've shared that, but I'll still do that. I'll still do justice to it in this class. So we'll touch some questions, some key questions, like the question number one here is a very key question for me, and there are some things I want to like explain there that you must understand before going into the examination. Also, let's move to two. Once you get to the exam hall, do not panic. I've said it. That will increase your level of anxiety, thereby making you to easily forget what you already know. Do not panic. Just remain calm. It's ICAN. It's going to come and go. That's it. So, if you are giving the exam question paper, the first thing you should do is read carefully the instruction to have a better understanding of what you are required to do. You don't have to rush and everything. You see some people, they give them in the answer book, the question book, they'll tell you things you have read, right? So number four, if you come across any question you do not understand, please do not be scared. Do not be scared to do not be scared. Don't waste your time on it. Leave there. Go and do something else. You can always come back to it. I do tell students that this exam, you are not trying to prove to someone that you know it. You are trying to pass, right? There are some things that you have to be strategical. The syllabus is wide, and we must not deceive ourselves. This is the major reason I used to tell students, do not deceive yourself. This syllabus is wide. You have to prepare in a strategic way. And when you're inside the exam, or you have to be strategical. There was a particular diet when I was in the TS2, and I'm very, when it comes to things with financial accounting, I used to tell people I flex so much in financial accounting a lot when it comes to financial accounting. And that's why I never referenced any course that has to do with financial accounting, corporate reporting, and all of that when I'm doing my ICAN career, professional career days. So the thing is, I used to teach people this, they call it miscellaneous accounting, farmers accounts, and all of that. So I was actually teaching farmers accounts in class. I was very I was very vast with farmers account and all of that. And I got to the exam, or that particular farmers account was the first question. And I like farmers account, of course. So I was trying to tackle it, that no, this farmers account, I'll sit to it, I must finish it. Meanwhile, I can't do something. They used to lock certain questions. If you are someone that have noticed the way I can't does this thing a lot, there's a particular question that they will just put a particular lock there. It might look simple, but they'll just put a simple lock there that if you can unlock it, you are good to go on that question. But unlocking it, you can use maybe like 10, take a lot of time in unlocking it. And I was busy doing this. Before I know, I had spent 1 hour on that particular question, just a 15 or 20 marks question. I had spent 1 hour. And I just realized that what am I doing? I was unable to even solve it. And I had to quickly before going to something else. But it's really dropped my, even though I didn't reference that course, it's dropped my performance. And that's why I do tell students, you are not going to prove the examiner that, oh, you know this particular topic. As a matter of fact, if you know public finance very well, and you see another question that you can easily earn marks from that is simpler than that. You are not trying to prove to them that you know public finance or you know debt, right? You are trying to pass. So pick the one that you can easily earn marks from. If you see a particular question that is a note aspect that you can easily earn mark from, why don't you pick it instead of wasting time on a calculation course, right? So you are not trying to prove it to anyone that you know it. You are trying to pass. Maybe after you're done with the examination, you can now say, okay, someone like me that some people wants to delve into lecturing. There are some things that I didn't have much understanding on when I was writing ICAN exam. That when I finished, oh, I have flair for lecturing. I had to quickly go and do the needful on it, revise it, read it, and digest it. At that point in time, I'm trying to prove to people that I know it. But at the point where you are trying to sit for the exam, you are trying to pass. You are not trying to prove. As a matter of fact, yeah, it's a means to an end. You have to know it to pass it. But the thing is that you have to be strategical when you are doing things like this. So now, like I said, don't waste much time. Just go ahead, answer. And this place, please, if you do not know question number one, do not leave empty space, right? And say, oh, question number one. Leave it there, empty space. And say, okay, I'll come back to that later. Start with the question you know. It's not a must that when the examiner opens your answer booklet, he sees question number one. If it is question number four that you know, start with question number four. Write it boldly on it. Question four, this is it. Unlike a situation where, I've had opportunity of speaking with several ICAN examiners, and it does not speak well if an examiner opens your booklet and he just sees an empty space. They are humans, right? And it leaves a wrong perspective, or it leaves a wrong impression to them that, oh, why would I open my first, I want to mark, and the first page I'm opening is an empty booklet, right? It does not sit, it does not make any sense. If I'm going to be the examiner, it's the examiner as they are humans, right? Although they have assessors, they have those that will actually check it and everything, vet it and all. But the thing is, I open it and you leave a particular wrong impression in me that might actually influence the way I'm going to mark you, even when I've seen something later. Right. So it's good, start with what you know. Do not leave empty space. These are practical things that will work for you. These are things that can just give you that edge. Right. So let's move on. Let's move on. I don't want to. Another thing is, make sure you conclude a round of your work at least 10 minutes before the scheduled time, so that you can cross check your work properly. The clue to this is that you don't waste time on what you know. That's just it. You waste time on what you do not know. So if you have read properly, this thing will work for you. You will finish 10 minutes before the scheduled time. See, 50 is the pass mark. And if I used to tell students that if ICAN exam is one funny exam, that if you are going to pass it, you will know. That's one funny thing. So immediately you are leaving the exam on. What I used to do then in the exam is that once I start answering questions, I'm already knowing, okay, did I answer it well or not? I'm writing, okay, how much. I like to mark myself first, like, okay, what can I score in this area? Okay, let me see how out of 15, the examiner is stingy, I can still score like 9 or 8. So I'm trying to add it up. Once I see that I've added, and I have up to 50 marks, I'm trying to tidy up my work. That's just it. I'm trying to tidy up my work, dot my I, cross my T's, and all of that. So 10 minutes before the exam, before they tell you, it's not when they are saying, oh, pens up, and you are trying to like snip something into the, it's not okay, because at that point in time, there are certain things that you might not even you wouldn't have even done. Maybe they told you, and that's why I used to advise you to enter the exam on everything that they tell you to fill on the answer booklet, fill it, because of you might not have time later. Do not procrastinate. Fill everything immediately, right? So ideally, you should finish 10 minutes if you know what you are doing. That's just it. Let's be realistic. And all right, question one now. I think that was very quick. Um, question one. So um, the following transaction, you are going to have access to this question. That's if I believe the admin should have sent you this question. You should have it physically with you, and of course, we should be able to like. I hope we are gaining something. I want this to be interactive as much as possible. Let me see. I have about 26 people. Wow, this the number is quite impressive. Um, at this point, if you have any question, you can raise it as regards all what I've said before I dive into the question. I believe we should be able to have this recording, right? So definitely you should be able to have. I know I'll talk to the admin. I know they are trying to do something on this to make it available. So um, let's move. If you have any question, please just let me know so that you can be unmuted and just raise your hand and I'll give you the opportunity to raise the question. All right. So let me dive into question number one, and this is the most important thing. Pay attention because yeah, sure. Okay, so the following transaction took place in the office of the accountant general. This question, let me prepare your mind now. Um, statutory um statutory financial, or let me say the financial statement, is one area that you should never joke with if you want to pass public sector accounts. You should never joke with it, please. I'm begging with. So that's why I made it question number one. Federation account, consolidated revenue account. Um, you have the contingent account, capital account, and all of that. Please do not joke with them. They are very important in regards, or let me say, with regards to this particular exam. Though I'm going to talk briefly before I end. We still have like an hour left, so it's a bit much. So we are still going to discuss. We are going to like rub minds on this before we call it a day, and I'll allow questions also as regards what we have actually discussed here. So the following transaction took place in the office of the Accountant General of the Federation of the Federal Republic of Wazobia during the month of January 2019. The details are as follows: crude oil sales 350 million. See, another thing I want you to pay attention to is your denomination of the currency. Some people mix it up. If you have met it like this in your exam, or if you are solving this question, please return it the same way you have met it. It has like a million naira. This is billion, right? Right? So no, this is even in trillion because of let me see. Okay, this is in billion because you have million up already. So crude oil sale, you have 350,000. I'm just calling 350,000 definitely because of that's what I have here in the box. So, but up here, please leave your million naira sign there. It's very important. So the examiner would know that you know what you are doing. So domestic crude oil receipt 445,000. Miscellaneous oil receipt 105. You know what? I want to do something to ease us of this question so we can know that it has direction. So the thing I want to do is I want us to go and check requirement as to where we are going to. So we have a direction. Let me go. Okay. So the requirement is prepare the federation account for the month of January 2019. This is 15 marks, 15 open marks. So if you know how to do this, you are good to go. You have 15 marks sitting in the bag already because this is a calculation course and this is a calculation question. So definitely, you know that if you have done the right calculation, you will earn your 15 marks. You can easily earn 15 marks with calculation, right? So let's quickly go back. We know what we are aiming towards. We are treating A first of all, right? So which is prepare federation account for the month of January 2019. So what we are doing here is that federation account. You need to first of all understand what is federation account. Federation account. Let's be practical a bit. So federation account is like a pot. Um, many of us, we've attended social gatherings, or we've hosted social gatherings, maybe like a wedding, a party, where you call your cooks or you call your chef. So they come with a very big pot, and they cook a very a very palacious jollof rice, and they put it inside there. Now, it's from that particular pot that they would dish to everyone that is going to be attending the party. So that jollof rice, sorry, that federation account is like that pot of jollof rice. So that is where, when we're growing up, then at home, the way we grew up in a typical African home, they tell you, oh, when you are done cooking, you first of all dish the head of the family, which is the father. You dish your mom's food, you dish your siblings, probably in the order of the way you have embedded, and probably you the thing is, they assemble it in the kitchen. Oh, you come and pick first, you come and pick first, you come and pick first, and all of that. I know many of us can actually relate to that. So picture federation account like that. So you have to gather all your revenue, which is the jollof rice, into the pots. Then the first thing to do is to look at, oh, who are those senior brothers, who are those senior member of the community or of the family that we should actually settle first. We should dish first. So the first person is, you have your custom, you have definitely going into that federation account. There are three sources, three heads. We have the oil, we have the tax, non-tax, and mining, and all of that. So those are the three heads where your revenue are coming from. So you keep all of them together inside there, right? I call them your ingredients that you've used to make your jollof rice. So you say, oh, you are bringing rice, so definitely the cost of actually bringing that rice, let's grant you 7% of the rice that you have donated, right? Let's give you out of this federation account because you have brought rice. Your rice is worth 100 naira, right? So because of you have contributed rice worth 100 naira into this particular pot, let's give you 7%, right, as custom. Now let's look at the FIRS. Oh, you've given us some taxation income, right? So let's give you 4%, right? Let's give you 4% of this particular. Let's say let me use FIRS. Let me depict it with you have provided maybe Maggie, right? Or you've provided water that they are using to cook. So you now be like, oh, if the water is worth 15 naira, so let's give you 4% of the 15 naira first of all before we share for any other person, right? So we also have the Department of Petroleum Resources, who is also being given 4%. It works like that. Then there's 13% derivative. No, I believe the examiner definitely give you that particular information. So I don't think you need to cram that. You are not a robot now. You do not need to cram that. So it definitely supply you with that information. So let's quickly read through this question. I just had to just give us a brief understanding of federation account, because going into this exam is one of the things I believe you should understand. Your question number one can be tested under investment appraisal. It can be tested under budgeting. It can be tested under those statutory books. Either it could be your statement of performance. It could be your statement of profit or loss. It could be cash flow. Then I'm still going to talk about some particular standard that you do not want to throw away, because I believe many of over time I've noticed students love this particular thing. They see standards in public sector account and finance as the same standard in financial reporting. But I'll bust your bubble. I don't think they are just it will just give you a guide, it will help you, right? But when you look at some terminologies, look at IPSAS 2, look at IAS 7 now, you see that there's a bit slight difference in their treatment. You see, IPSAS 2 is more simplified than IAS 7. That I'm talking about cash flow statement for some of us that do not know that. So let's quickly we are going to solve this question. This particular one talking about federation account, and I guess the second question is talking about statement of the statement of financial performance of the state for the year ended December 31st, 2018, and statement of financial position as at that particular date. So we have all of that giving us 30 marks. Please, if you are just joining, You're welcome to class. We've not done really, not gone really far. As a matter of fact, I've not solved any question yet. So you are still right on time. And please call my attention if you add an addition. It's going to. I just want it to be interactive. Most of the time on the platform, many of us will just come and we do not get really interactive, which I don't really like because I'm not meant to like be talking, and it's a radio. When you open even radio service to receive call, right? It's an end-to-end conversation, so you should be able to like tell me, okay, I see. You're able to tell me, oh, this is what I'm actually having issues with. This is what I want to clarify what you have done here. So let's have a conversation. I'm also a student. I'm getting to learn. As a matter of fact, I'm learning also the same way I'm in class. You are learning. I'm also learning. So that's it. So let's quickly treat that question. I want us to understand the requirement first of all, which we have done. So let's quickly look at our question. So we have the crude oil sales. I spoke about it before. Domestic crude oil receipts. We have the miscellaneous oil receipts. Royalty on crude oil, 101,000. We have the royalty on gas. We have 95,000. We have rentals on oil field, which is 87,000. We have gas flood penalty. What comes to your mind seeing all of this? It's looking like, oh, which head actually has oil and gas? I know you have treated that, you should know it, right? So we have gas flood, which is 77,000. Petroleum profit tax, 650,000. Those of us that are familiar with this now, you should know that we have hydrocarbon tax, and we also have companies income tax for those that are actually in the oil and gas sector. So you should know that for those of you doing taxation. So we have the company's income tax, other other non-oil taxes. We have import duties. Sorry, split screen. Let's make it small. Okay. Import duties, 255,000. Export duties, 125,000. We have the custom penalty charge, which is 115,000. We have the excise duties, 320,000. Now, there are some additional information that you need to pay attention to. We have the Nigerian Customs Service is entitled to 7%. I spoke about this when I give my analogy of the jollof rice and all of that. So, cost of collection, I said, oh, you are bringing this. This is what you are entitled to. Let's give you this because you are bringing this. So that's the cost of collection. Revenue collected on all revenue collected, while Federal Inland Revenue Service is entitled to 4% of non-oil revenue. The share ratio is stated as follows. Yeah, don't forget that when you are done serving all the, the Olori Ebis, I mean, the elderly ones, those that have actually um, contributed giant share to the jollof rice that you're cooking, then you need to now share for everyone again. So you see, the thing is, they are getting those people are actually getting twice. So they get, and even as a matter of fact, even if they still um, qualify to earn from derivation, those that are bringing the oil producing state, I think we have all the south states, oil producing states. We have Ondo, if I'm not mistaken. We have Abia, and we also have Imo. So those are the states that are actually going to benefit from 13% derivation. So that is being paid to them. So we need to remove their own first. So as a matter of fact, if you are coming, like you're actually contributing to this, you can earn twice. You get to share from the normal sharing ratio, which is this. Then you now also get from the derivation also. So that's that. And so, like we said, the sharing ratio is stated as follows: federal government 52.68%, the state government we have 26.72%, then we have the local government that is 20.60%. Now we have the 13% derivation, which is paid to oil producing states, and it is based on oil and gas related income. So we have B, The following information relates. Oh, sorry, this is for the B part. Let's quickly go and treat A, then we come back to B. I'll dwell more on this A than the B because the B is something that we do normally. In fact, I don't want to waste. I have some other note aspects to like dive into, to talk about. So that's it. Let's quickly look at the solution to this. If you have a copy of this, don't worry. For you, those that are just joining, you are welcome to class. I don't know if there's a chat box there. You could actually indicate where you are joining us from. Let's know our range. Let's know um, where you are joining Starry Gold Academy from. It's good. Let's acknowledge you. Um, let's know. So let's look at this. Look at what I have in Federal Republic. See, there's no way you will solve, you will attempt a question. If I'm an examiner, no way I will give you, you will use, you cannot just start solving a question without telling me what you are doing, right? You need to tell me what are you doing. So it's good. Write the name, Federal Republic of Ethiopia, of January 2019. Now you go revenue. Now someone once asked, do I need to break it down into the head, head one, head two, and head three? You know, um, do you really need to break it down into head one, head two, and head three? Me as an examiner, if you break it down into head one, head two, and head three, yeah, I will say you know what you are doing. For someone that still gives me, lumps everything up together, he knows what qualifies to be in the federation account. And of course, you guys are going to arrive at the same answer. So I will not give you separate answers, separate marks. So you have just done the same thing, but you just decide to be more analytical. And except if it is stated in the question specifically that, okay, oh, let me break it down, then that is when you can break it down. But if they've not told you to do that, please don't waste your time on it. Those are things that you don't really need to waste your time on in the examination, or it could actually waste your time. So I wanted to talk about time management the other time. I will do that before the end of the class. So let's look at this. Look at crude oil sales now. I don't know. I have to keep to be flipping. I don't know. I can, do this, flipping through the question, coming back to the solution is going to take much of my
They
time. But
have their own definition as we go.
hello, are you me? Someone is saying something. Hello, someone is saying something.
No, no, continue, continue.
Okay, I should continue. Okay, so let's quickly do this. So we have the crude oil sales, which is 350. You are just picking it from there, literally. The domestic crude oil receipts, that's 445,000. The miscellaneous oil receipts, you are picking it from there also, right? No, at times it can be funny. ICAN can be so funny at times, and they'll go and put a particular revenue that should not come into here, right? They'll just go and drop it there. Any revenue that you see that does not qualify to be, I'm saying it categorically now, any revenue that does not qualify to be in Ed 1, Ed 2, and Ed 3, please do not include it in your calculation. Do not pick it because it does not qualify. So companies income tax, companies income tax, petroleum profits tax. We also have the withholding. We also have the withholding tax, capital gain tax, and all of that. So two is indirect tax, which is custom duties, excise duties, import duties, and all of that. Then I said at three, talking about the mining, which is the oil. So it relates to the oil pipeline license fees, the rent of oil, royalties on minerals, right? Penalty for gas flare, and all of that. So we could actually have rentals on oil field, royalties on crude oil, and all of that. So they are parts, they are all in three. So when you have gotten this, let's see. Do we still have other um sorry, that was a quick one.
Hello, sir.
Moving too fast. So let's see. Okay, someone is there. You want to ask a
Yes,
question?
yes. I think the time
Okay.
for this class is showing that it will end in 10 minutes. Please help us to look at that, please.
All right. So I'll get in touch with the admin now. So there'll be a link. Another link will be sent, which we are going to, I guess we are going to join. This class is still meant to hold for at least 45 more minutes, and it should not end in 10 minutes. So I will talk to the admin now. So you can just bear with us for now. So let's quickly continue. Petroleum profit tax, of course, where would that one fall? I spoke about some particular taxes that will be some particular revenue that will fall in head one, which relate to direct tax. So that will be direct tax, which is head one. So of course, we have companies income tax. The figure is right there, just picked it. We have other non-oil taxes, is also there. Import duties. Where does import duties fall? Of course, you should know indirect tax and mining tax, and mining revenue rather. So we have um, export duties, custom penalty charge, and all of that. We also have excise duties, which is 320,000. So right now we have total revenue. So you sum all of this up and you have your total revenue, which is 3,205,000. So what is the first thing now? You have cooked your rice, your jollof rice. So the next thing is to deduct. I said something that there are some people in the family, like the daddy, the mom, you share it according to those that have priority, right? The preference. So which is the Nigerian custom that we have been told to give 7% of what they've brought inside. They've contributed, right? So first of all, give them that, okay, oh, you have given us jollof rice, the rice that we used for the jollof rice. Oh, let me give you 7%. Take out of that, let's say the jollof rice is worth 100 naira. Take 7%. This is what you have brought. So you do not expect, this is one mistake that a lot of students used to make. The 7% should not be applied on the total revenue. You are not saying 7% of all the whole rice. It's quite tricky there, right? So it's not 7% of all the whole jollof rice. It is 7% only of what they are bringing. If the total amount that has made the jollof rice is 500 naira, right? Now, if what the Nigerian Custom Service has brought in, okay, let me say the head of the family has brought, is he brought rice and the rice is worth 100 naira. He is going to be only going to be getting is going to be getting only 7% of 100 naira and not 7% of 500. See, I have marked a mock exam that students made a lot of these mistakes. You will think you know it, right? As I'm saying it now, you will think it has synced, right? Get into the exam owner, you see you are making the same mistake. I hate when I solve live questions. There's a particular situation. I remember there was a particular diet. I lecture SFM at the professional level, and I solved a 40 marks question for students. Then there was a particular diet that they were trying to like um experiment that let's put 40 marks as the question number one. And that particular diet, they tested question number one, 40 marks. And that question that was set was question that I had treated in the revision class with students. And they repeated it with some tweaks, some little tweaks. And I was surprised with coming out and students were still making some funny mistakes. So that's what I'm saying. Don't assume, know it, note it down, solve question on this. In fact, as a matter of fact, when I'm done with this live class, when you get this question, sit down and resolve it. Do you get? Resolve this question. Do not apply 7% on the total revenue. That's been said. Now let's go and look at how are we going to get this 57,050. Now this 57,050, now we go down and add what are the things that relate to custom that custom has brought. Import duties, export duties, custom penalty charge, excise duties. Those are the
Ah, what is happening?
Told us we should
We can't hear you.
deduct
The
4%.
network is
4%. The admin is taking care of that. Can you hear me now? Okay, so can you hear me
yes,
now?
yes, we can
Okay,
hear
we
you.
can hear you now.
Okay, am I okay, okay. So a new link has been I guess you have gotten a new link, so definitely. Um okay, someone is raising hand. Joy, have I attended to you? Have I attended to you? I see you are raising your hand. So so the link for the continuation has been shared. Has been shared. So this will once this ends, you can join using that link. So can we continue? I was going to
All right.
explain, yeah, the custom. Um, I've done with custom 7% for custom. So we want to look at the 4% for Federal Inland Revenue Service. You are lucky enough that this question does not have the 4% for the Department of Petroleum Resources, that's DPR. Normally they are entitled to 4%, right? So in this particular question, we are not giving. So of course you should know that if we're giving the Department of Petroleum Resources, you should be able to identify what they are bringing. I tell you for a fact, if you cannot identify what each of those particular people are bringing, there's no how you can know what to apply the rates that we are giving them on. So this is 4%. So we know what the Federal Inland Revenue Service is bringing, definitely. So that is why we can now say, okay, Federal Inland Revenue Service, of course, they are bringing companies income tax. You know, there are some particular taxes that Federal Inland Revenue Service will never collect. They are not in charge of it. It's for the states, like the pay tax and all of that. Of course, you not see pay here. So we have companies income tax, other non-oil taxes. Those are what is coming here, right? Federal Inland Revenue Service is getting companies income tax and other non-oil taxes. If you go and check your question, you see there. So we have total 480,000. So if you apply 4% on this, you have 19,200. If you apply 4% on it, you have 19,200. Are we making any sense at all? So that's how we got 19,200. And you see, that's the first thing that you should deduct. Serve those leaders first. I call them the leaders. Yoruba will call them Olori Ebi. Serve them first. They are the first people. They are the one bringing the revenue. Serve them first out of that pot. So the next thing now is you are arriving, after you deduct this, you are going to arrive at something called net income before derivation. Derivation is paid to, don't forget, the oil producing state. And I said the questions could be funny at times, and you know it can actually tell you that, okay, it might not even give you, but I trust ICAN at times. They will give you the 13%. They will tell you the rates. You are not robot now. They will give you the rate. So you just deduct the 13% derivation, even if the question does not mandate you. In fact, you let's go back to the question. You see in this question that they told you what to do. In fact, this question is very simple. They told you what to do. I'm running out of time. So look at, they told you what to do. Look at, they said 13% is paid to oil producing state and it is based on oil and gas related income. Can you see? What of in a situation where they just tell you that, oh, derivation is at 13% and they did not tell you it is based on oil producing state, on oil gas related income, right? So
Mr. David, sorry for
yes,
interrupting you. I think you should end this class, then use the other link to join so you can continue.
all right, all right. So please let's continue from the other link.